make way for Mark Sanchez, former NFL quarterback, USC QB, Fox NFL analyst. He's going to be covering the Jags and Rams coming up on Sunday. Mark joins us. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Good morning. What's going on, guys? Let's see, 6'2" and a quarter, and give me 235 at the moment.
Did you lie about height or weight when you were in college or the NFL?
In high school, yes. I think I put like 6'3" or something. But after that, I just kept 6'2", and after the combine, it's like, all right, everybody measured me. Can't lie about that anymore.
What do you remember about the combine?
So I dislocated my kneecap going into my last season at USC, like the second practice. So I sat out most of training camp, came back for the opener against Virginia on the road, and I had to wear this brace that like basically kept my kneecap in place while I'm running around and stuff. Because once it dislocates, it's prone to do it again. So at the combine, everybody's got to check it out for the couple days of the medical exams. And so everybody's just cranking on this knee. And this thing blew up like a basketball in the hotel room. And I was like icing this thing all night just to get to the next day so I could go out and run my 40 and do all the physical stuff. It was a disaster. But every doctor from every single team was like, oh, this is the knee? How does this feel? You know? And they're just like cranking on it. And I'm like, dude, and you can't say anything, you know? And by the end of the day, this thing was just so big and so annoying. But I ended up getting it fixed after my rookie season. It popped out again my rookie year. So, yeah, the combine was a disaster.
I was talking to Matt Leinart yesterday, and he talked about
I heard him.
Yeah.
I heard him.
Yeah, he talked about you two taking ballroom dancing together. Now, he had already graduated, so he needed 2 credit. You were a freshman taking ballroom dance. Was that your major?
No. No. I think without the kneecap issue, I might have been a professional dancer.
Oh, okay.
That's all I got to say.
Dancing with the Stars?
Matt,
okay.
Matt was like, I can't remember any dances. Well, our teacher was Jesus. Everybody called him Jay. And he was a trip. But I'm not going to name any names, but the gal that Matt was seeing in school, her friend became my partner, was my dance partner. And she was a total babe. And, had a mini crush on her, and we danced and on Tuesday nights and had our little thing. It was cool. I thought it was awesome.
I like how Matt, didn't. I said, man, a great place to meet women if you're in college taking ballroom dancing.
Oh, yeah. He dodged that thing like the plague. Holy cow. That was funny.
He said that he was hearing Matt Campbell at Iowa State was the guy that USC was kind of zeroing in on before they got Lincoln Riley. Who were you hearing USC was going to hire?
Well, I was hearing that Sunday, right before all this went down. I thought that was going to happen. I thought the Fickle thing was going to happen potentially because of his connection with Mike Bone, apparently. He was a former AD there, and they were together or something. So, which, those guys would be great. But I think this one was just such a big splash and so exciting offensively and so exciting for recruiting, and I don't know. We could have got anybody better. I was just as excited as Matt.
But what has happened since Pete Carroll left? Like what left with when Pete left?
The recruits left California. I mean, think about it. The kid who was starting at Georgia was from Mater Dei for a little bit, and then they, switched quarterbacks or whatever. But JT Daniels was from Mater Dei.
Yeah.
And he's in Athens, Georgia. The other kid from Mater Dei, Bryce Young, is starting at Alabama. The kid from St. John Bosco is starting at Clemson. Now, whether these guys are, the best quarterbacks ever or NFL Hall of Famers and all that isn't the point. The point is they all came from Orange County, and they left. Like Coach Ogeron used to say, when things were rolling here, they would see other coaches show up at LAX, and they'd be like, what are you doing here? Like, other coaches from other schools. Like, why are you here? Are you on vacation? Like, what are you doing? You're not getting any of these kids. Get the hell out of here. You know, like that was like the running joke because you'd walk in with the SC interlock to a high school and everybody just lined up. I mean, Coach Carroll was recruiting guys just so they didn't go to UCLA. Like it was crazy. We had five-star running backs at one point. It was like Mark Tyler, Emmanuel Moody, C.J. Gable, Stephon Johnson, all in one running back room. I was like, holy, this is unbelievable.
How did
that's the way it was.
How did Pete recruit you or Ed?
Ooh, Coach O.
Hey, Sanchez. You gonna hold the trophy? You gonna hold the sword in the Rose Bowl? You gonna be the quarterback of the USC Trojans?
I was like,
he said, you gonna stand on the ladder, and after that, I'm gonna go make you some gumbo.
I said, I don't know what gumbo is, but I'm in. I'll be there. And sure as heck, man, I mean, Coach Carroll literally sat in my living room with my whole family, you know, chewing gum like he does and going a million miles an hour. And he was just such an energetic personality. They were putting out quarterbacks left and right. Carson had just gotten drafted. Leinart was in the running he was just about to win the Heisman. And Matt Castle was getting drafted after barely playing. I'm like, this is a quarterback factory. Sarkisian's going to be there. Chow's there. Ogeron's there. Where else would I go? I mean, it didn't make any sense to go anywhere else. You know, I looked at Ohio State. I looked at Texas. I looked at Notre Dame. And it was like, why would I leave? There was no other option. And now, once you see what Lincoln Riley's done with all these other quarterbacks, you're a quarterback here in Orange County, San Diego, L.A., Northern California. Why would you leave?
Talking to Mark Sanchez, the Fox NFL analyst. He's got Jags at the Rams. What concerns do you have with the Rams?
Ooh, you know, it's interesting because when they lost Robert Woods and people think like, oh, it's fine, they just get OBJ. Well, Woods plays Z for them. He's like their flanker. And so now Van Jefferson's kind of in that role, and he's more of like a slot and sometimes an X and not really a Z. Like he didn't really play Robert's position. So he's got to learn a lot. OBJ's got to learn a ton. You know, I watched their game last night from Green Bay last week, just again before I go to their practice tomorrow. And it's little stuff. Like when you go system to system, when you're, you know, OBJ's on his third team and everybody's like, oh, well, why is he not panning out? Why he's not good anymore? Was it Baker? Was it him? Well, when you go from team to team, these languages of offenses and the little nuances, whether you take, you know, when you run a 2x2 balanced set and you run like all slants.
Give me a play. Give me a complicated play.
I mean, this isn't a complicated play. Everybody runs it, but you know, you call it lion or dragon is like drag slant, or lion is all slant or triple slant or whatever. Basically, some teams run them like 5-step slants on the outside, 3-step slants on the inside. Some teams run them 3-step slants on the outside, 1-step slants on the inside. Some teams run slants on the inside and have like options where if you get walled off by a backer or a nickel and they don't let you go inside, you just slam on the brakes and pull back out of the route. So everything's like a little different everywhere you go. Driving a different car, dating a new girl. Some girls are gluten-free. Some girls eat anything. You know what I mean? It's just different. Same basic rules, same game, but just a little different. And you can tell they're trying to figure it out right now. And Stafford's a little off with him. He's a little off with Stafford. Stafford's expecting him to run on a certain route or slam on the brakes, and he's doing the opposite. So they're still feeling each other out. And it takes time. But, I mean, the biggest concern is, like, if they don't rip off a bunch of wins, they're going to have to go back to Green Bay.
Yeah.
And it was freezing up there. It was like, you know, in the teens, low teens with the wind chill, and they did not look good. So, I mean, that's my only fear with them. Like, they need to win a bunch of games, and Green Bay has to hit a little slide if the Rams want to, you know, control home field and all that.
What's worse for a quarterback, snow, rain, cold, wind?
Wind sucks. Wind. It's like the old Meadowlands,
yeah,
the old Giant Stadium. They would have to keep – so they had these two big garage doors on each side, like on each end of the field kind of. So, like, emergency vehicles can come through, right? Well, they'd have to keep one open as like some sort of code or safety code or whatever. So the wind would come in there and just swirl. And you're like, you literally have to plan plays based on the quarter. Like if you're going to take a deep post shot, you can't throw it into the wind. I mean, at least I couldn't. Maybe Josh Allen could. Maybe, maybe a handful of guys that have ever played could have done it. But that was tough. And it's like, hey, we're going to hit this. We're going to try and hit Flutie, the deep post on it. We're going to have to try and get to it in the second quarter because we're going the wrong way right now. Like, it was ridiculous. So the wind totally sucks. Rain's never been that much of a problem for me, but I got really big hands. So I remember playing that Monday night game against the Vikings, against Favre, and it was just pouring. I mean, just absolutely drenched in warm-ups, and it was those weren't bad. But, I mean, just getting used to the cold. Like, I remember, I'm a SoCal kid, man. I grew up in Orange County. I'm at the beach, like rainbow sandals all the time, and then you go to New York. I mean, I never played a game in less than, 52 degrees. So it was – I mean, we'd go out on Tuesdays, and the equipment staff would wet the balls down when it started to get cold, and I'd have to go play catch and just get used to it. It sucked. My hands would hurt so bad, and it was just different. So, it's different when you draft a kid from the West Coast.
Have you looked into the NFT with the butt fumble to make some money off of that, to own that?
That's funny. My best friend actually talked about that because he's like, all these people are doing it and making money. I mean, I get how, like, the concept of it, but it just seems so weird. Like, that whole thing, the Bitcoin thing, like, I just, I don't know. That's really hard for me to wrap my brain around. That's just, like, different. And I know I don't know enough about it to, like, jump in that arena. So I just kind of stayed away from it.
Well, you should have skipped dance class.
Taking an econ class?
Yeah, something like that. I don't get the Bitcoin one either. And even the NFT, I'm not quite sure. Yeah. But
the whole blockchain thing, and we're going to go mine this stuff. And I'm like, what? What's it like living in the Matrix, man? I'm out.
I remember the first time I walked on USC's campus, and I thought it was a movie set. And they
film a lot of movies there.
Yeah, but I'm with my son, who eventually went there, and then one of my daughters. But you walk on that campus, and you go, this isn't real. It's like, right?
It's even nicer now. Have you seen it recently?
Oh, yeah, they build that village.
I'm saying recently in the last, there's like a Whole Foods and a Trader Joe's across the street. That market we used to go to, that 3-2 market, had straight up rats in there all the time. All the time. And I'm like getting eggs like, ugh, damn, that's nasty.
Yeah, it's a little different.
That place was terrible. And then the movie theater, oh my God. That movie theater, there was like homeless people in there. The dudes, like, we'd go see, like, those Saw movies were coming out, so everybody wanted to go see that. And, I mean, dudes are just, like, screaming in there, like, no, don't go in the room. Don't go in the room. Homeless guys in there, people, like, giving birth in there. It was disgusting.
What?
I hated that place. Dude, I'm telling you, that place was so bad. It was so bad. The fact that Coach Carroll got all those kids to go there with those facilities and, like, the way the campus was at the time, that's crazy. That's crazy. It didn't even match up to anything that it is now or any of the other schools.
I know. Tough life, though.
Oh.
Tough life being a USC student,
no,
right?
I'm so happy I went there. I mean, it's the best. It's the best, especially if you're going to live here when you're done. Like, if you're going to be in SoCal and you went to USC, it's awesome, man.
Did you have a football class?
One of the best things in the world. Football class?
Yeah, but was there one that all the football players took, aside from ballroom dancing?
There was like a self-defense class. That was kind of cool.
Well, that might come in handy if you went into the movie theater.
Yeah, exactly. That movie theater, you needed it, bro. That place was so bad.
Self-defense.
No, we took like karate. It was like karate or like self-defense. That one was pretty fun. Occupational therapy was a cool one. But a lot of guys were, Matt said it yesterday, a lot of guys were sociology majors because nobody knew what they wanted to do. Everybody's just like, oh, okay, I'll just go Soch. And that's what they did. I ended up taking communication. I actually took a class on like fashion communication. So like the gal Paige from Paige Premium Denim, which was super popular at the time, came in and spoke to the class. I took a class with Dr. Boyd, and I think like Guillermo del Toro came in and spoke to us. People from The Office, Jim and Pam from The Office came in when The Office was big, and they spoke to our class. It was awesome. You get to see like all the sneak peek movies and TV shows that are out. It was really cool. He was great.
Oh man, living the life.
Yeah, we had some good classes. Though.
Yeah. Hey, have fun with the Jags and the Rams. Always great to catch up with you. My best to the family, and thanks again.
I appreciate it, man.
All right.
Yes, sir. Thanks
That's Mark Sanchez, Fox NFL analyst and former USC quarterback.